Hello and welcome to my channel. Hi everyone. Today I will talk about the good things in Islam.
What?
I kept on reading this question in the ex-Muslim Reddit frequently. They ask, you left Islam, but surely there are some good things in Islam, right? So let's go through what the people, especially Muslims, say about Islam that is good. Are they really good things, or something that pretends to be good? Note that this list is not exhaustive, since Muslims keep on claiming so many things in Islam are good. First, doing good to parents. Quran Surah Al-Isra, verse 23 reads, "And your Lord has decreed that you worship not except Him, and to parents, good treatment. Whether one or both of them reach old age with you, say not to them buf, and do not repel them but speak to them a noble word." The buf indicates a whiny sound that people make when they are annoyed. It is a little extreme to me, that Allah forbids saying buf to your parents. Whining is a natural instinct in human beings. So, doing good to parents is indeed a good thing, but not until we cannot disagree with them as the Quran implies. This is among the method how Islam keep their population at large, by subduing the children's, making the children's worship their parents. So, Islam did not teach Muslims to be good to their parents, but rather to obey and submit to their will instead. Second, doing good to people. The Quran taught Muslims to do good to poor people, orphans, friends, to relatives and neighbor, and traveler. Surah An-Nisa, verse 36 reads, "Worship Allah and associate nothing with Him, and to parents do good, and to relatives, orphans, the needy, the near neighbor, the neighbor farther away, the companion at your side, the traveler, and those whom your right hands possess." Indeed, Allah does not like those who are self-deluding and boastful. But, oops. This verse also mentions those whom your right hand possess, which is a phrase that means slaves. Yikes, this oops moment kind of failed this verse for me. Like, oh wow, Islam taught to do good to the neighbors, but yeah, we also support slavery. So how is that a good thing? Third, doing good to animals. The authentic hadith reads, narrated Abu Huraira, Allah's messenger said, "A prostitute was forgiven by Allah, because, passing by a panting dog near a well, and seeing that the dog was about to die of thirst, she took off her shoe, and tying it with her head cover, she drew out some water for it. So, Allah forgave her because of that." It was said that the prostitute ended up in paradise for that one act of kindness towards an animal, a dog no less. This hadith often is used by the Muslim Dawah groups, to appeal to Christians and Western people. Like, this is next-level compassion and forgiveness. But the problem is, there are other hadiths that taught to do harm to dogs. And in my own experience, I have witnessed cruelty to dogs by Muslims with my own eyes. And I myself had thrown pebbles towards dogs when I was a Muslim back then. So that is the main problem with Islam. The bad teachings against animals are there too, so when the scholars popularize the bad teachings, it is reflected by the actions of the Muslims community. What needs to be done is to remove the bad authentic hadiths. But who dares to do so? Nobody. Not one scholar dare to do it, lest he is accused of rejecting the Sunnah of the Prophet, and persecuted. Fourth, give charity. In Islam, there are basically two types of charity. The first is the obligatory zakat, which is rated at 2.5% of the monthly income. The second is general donation, called sadaqah, which has no required amount and not obligatory. The zakat money is given to the Islamic authority to distribute to the poor people, but what non-Muslims don't know, is that zakat money is forbidden for non-Muslims, as it is solely for Muslims poor, Muslims needy, and Muslim homeless only. It is haram to give to the non-Muslim poor, needy and homeless. So, what's so good about that? A discrimination in helping others. The sadaqat is for all people, but due to religionism, not many Muslims actually give charity to non-Muslims. To them, such act is a loss, since it is seen as empowering other religion instead of Islam. 5th. Anti-racism. This teaching is from the last sermon of the Prophet, but not in authentic hadith or Quran. So, its credibility is questionable. But nevertheless, Muslims hold this text dearly. A portion of it reads, "All mankind is from Adam and Eve, an Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab, a white has no superiority over a black nor a black has any superiority over a white, except by righteousness and good action." It sounds great. But Muslims often omit the next part, learn that every Muslim is a brother to every Muslim and that the Muslims constitute one brotherhood. Nothing shall be legitimate to a Muslim which belongs to a fellow Muslim unless it was given freely and willingly. So, Islam does see past the skin color, but they still discriminate based on faith, some sort of religionism. Only other Muslims are brethren and sisters to them. But not the Christians, Jews, Hindus, and Buddhists. And well, we know what their stance on other faiths is. 6th. Restrain anger. From the Quran, Surah Ali Imran, verse 134, it reads, "Who spend, in the cause of Allah, during ease and hardship and who restrain anger and who pardon the people, and Allah loves the doers of good." I don't know why Muslims thinks that restraining anger is something good. Indeed, Islam taught Muslims not to be angry every day, so Muslims push down any anger they have. But isn't that unhealthy for their mind? This is the reason why many Muslims become filled with rage and then start to hurt someone. Because most of the time, they were taught to shove down their anger, deep down. Being angry is normal and is part of our life. What's not normal is acting upon that anger to do harm to others. But that is what will happen when you bottle up your anger for a long time. 7th. No compulsion in Islam. I think by now all of us already know this bullshit verse. Let's read it again to see what it actually says. There shall be no compulsion in the religion. The right course has become distinct from the wrong. So whoever disbelieves in Taghut and believes in Allah has grasped the most trustworthy handhold with no break in it. And Allah is hearing and knowing. Note, there is a bracketed words, acceptance of, which is added to change the verse's meaning. The Arabic words says, La ikraha fi din, it means, no compulsion in the religion. So this verse actually contradicts what Muhammad did by forcing people to become Muslims. Other verses also contradict this verse, such as the one saying that Muslims have to fight the disbelievers until they pay the jizya. It is not a good thing, because so many other verses in hadith actually says the opposite. 8th. Do not ridicule each other. The Quran reads, O you who have believed, let not a people ridicule people, perhaps they may be better than them, nor let women ridicule women, perhaps they may be better than them. And do not insult one another and do not call each other by nicknames. Wretched is the name of disobedience after faith. And whoever does not repent, then it is those who are the wrongdoers. I don't know why Muslims think that this is a good thing. The problem with this teaching is, it makes the society easily triggered by insults. What Islam should teach is to be immune to insults instead. And not forgetting to mention, what is the punishment for insults to the Prophet? You forbid insulting one another, but your punishment for any insults is so grave and irreversible. That is insanity, and not a good thing at all. 9th. Be clean. Muslims love to quote this verse to say Islam teaches cleanliness. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 222, it reads, Indeed, Allah loves those who are constantly repentant and loves those who purify themselves. They said, Allah loves those who clean themselves. But really? Let's read this verse fully. And they ask you about menstruation. Say, it is harm, so keep away from wives during menstruation. And do not approach them until they are pure, and when they have purified themselves, then come to them from where Allah has ordained for you. Indeed, Allah loves those who are constantly repentant and loves those who purify themselves. So this verse is actually talking about the state of purity of menstruating women. In Islam, menstruating women are not allowed to touch the Quran, or offer the salat, or step into the mosque. Because menstruation is spiritually impure and dirty in Islam. So, this verse isn't talking about being clean physically, but rather spiritually. Another verse in the Quran that talks about cleanliness and purity also refers to that same spiritual cleanliness. There is no such thing as Islam teaches its followers to be clean physically, either in the Quran or Hadith. Muslims only felt that way because they are always taking the wudu to wash their faces, hands and feet. No soap is allowed. After touching a dog, Islam even taught them to wash with dirt water. Again, no soap. How is that promoting cleanliness? That's about it that I can cover for this video. I have seen Muslims claiming 50 or 100 good things in Islam, but all of them are just like what I covered in here. On the surface it appears to be good, but in reality, not really. In short, there is really nothing good that is exclusively Islam. We will be better without Islam on this earth, and that is a fact. If you like this video, consider to like, share and subscribe. If you wish to support my work on this channel, you can give thanks, or subscribe to my Patreon. Stay away from Islam, and keep Islam out of your lives. Have a nice day.